Blessed be the Set, my rock, who trains my hands for war and my fingers for battle. It is my steadfast love and my fortress, my stronghold and my deliverer, my shield and the one in whom I take refuge, who subdues peoples under me.
Today we want to pay tribute
to a masterpiece of engineering. A milestone of motorcycle history, an orchestra of mechanical components that we all cherish for playing its symphony of power, speed and sound for anyone who is willing to listen. Now, after half a century of glory, we feel blessed to be able to celebrate the 50th anniversary of the Kawasaki Z1, also known as the Kawasaki Z900 Superfour. Developed under the codename Projekt New York Steak in the late 1960s and early 1970s, the Z1 was a surprising as well as stunning reaction to the Honda CB750. It was Kawasaki's answer to a challenge in a long-lasting rivalry. It was their chance to prove what was actually possible. At the time of its introduction on the motor show IFMA in Cologne, Germany, 1972, the Z1 was the scariest bike on the planet, a terrifying blend of power and attitude. Nevertheless, it was an incredible temptation to every rider, opening up new and unknown dimensions. It offered a completely new and unique experience. After decades of evolution, due to the pressure of competition, Kawasaki put this bike on the market with unprecedented specifications and a timeless design that would influence riders throughout the world for decades, maybe centuries to come. It was a game changer. The Z1 features an air-cooled inline 4-cylinder engine with a bore and stroke of 66 mm each, which leads to a displacement of 903 cubic centimeters. It is equipped with a double overhead camshaft driven by a single roller chain and 2 valves per cylinder, actuated by bucket tappets. Fueled by a battery of 4 28mm Mikuni carburetors, it releases 79 horsepower at 8000 RPM. The 4-in-4 exhaust system in chrome looks impressive and is easily recognizable. Although it adds some unnecessary weight, as some might say, it generates a sound that makes the hair on your neck stand up when opening the throttle. The full duplex cradle frame was sturdy enough to house the engine. A telescopic fork in the front and a swing arm in the rear allowed for comfortable cruising. The hydraulically actuated front disc brake with only one disc had a diameter of 296 mm. The drum brake on the rear wheel had a diameter of 200 and a width of 35 mm. Both enabled the rider to stop quickly. The fuel tank had a capacity of 18 liters, 3 liters were reserved as a backup. With a consumption of 8 liters per 100 kilometers, the Z1 was able to cover a bit more than 200 kilometers without stopping for fuel. The total package adds up to a dry weight of 230 kilograms. If you add all necessary fluids, the bike weighs 246 kilograms when ready to go. Diligent testing on public roads as well as racetracks prior to its release had already proven that this bike was capable of enduring high speeds beyond 200 kilometers per hour. Eventually, in the year 1973, the Z1 set the 24-hour world speed record at the Speedway in Daytona, Florida. During a test on the Nürburgring Nordschleife, the Z1 achieved a top speed of 217 km per hour, which was unheard of for a serial production bike. The German motorcycle magazine Motorrad, who conducted the test, titled "Pure Violence." The designer of the Kawasaki Z1, Norimasa Tada, nicknamed Ken, was given only one single month to come up with the design of this bike. Adding to the time restraint was the fact that he had to accomplish the whole task by himself, completely on his own. Normally a whole team of designers would take somewhere around half a year for such a project. He reportedly told his wife that she would not have a husband for the next 30 days and went to work. What he ended up with was the timeless design we all know today. When presenting his results to the management of Kawasaki in the United States, the only change they requested was a slightly smaller fuel tank and the design was done. And it looks epic, even to this day. She is Frankensteins Daughter, Kawasaki's 900 road scorcher, the fantasy roadster that the Japanese culled from your mind. Some say this bike was, and still is, the absolute pinnacle of motorcycle engineering. It is pound for pound the greatest and most beautiful motorcycle ever built. Riders as well as motorcycle journalists loved it, like the one from Cycle magazine, who wrote the following for the November issue in 1979. The engine, oh the engine. The mother is black with polished side covers, a chrome cap over the starter, and polished semicircles which conceal the ends of the camshafts. Over time, the Z1 became a legend that today occupies a special place in the hearts of many people around the globe. In hindsight, not only the monumental performance of the Z in pure power and high speed, but also its timeless design carved the legacy of this motorcycle into the history books. Its DNA lives on in modern motorcycles, developed and distributed by Kawasaki today. And we are grateful for that. A shout out to our friend Franz Josef Schermer, who worked as a motorcycle journalist in the 1970s and later on founded the magazine Mo. He coined the Z1's widely known nickname, Frankensteins Tochter, which is German and translates to Frankensteins Daughter. After testing the Z1 on the Nürburgring Nordschleife and riding it with a colleague who transported a girl as his passenger, Franz Josef wrote the following opener for an article in the April issue of the magazine Motorrad in 1976. The quote was inspired by a remark of his colleague, and it roughly translates like this: "Do you know what a horror trip is? Hold the throttle open until 9,000 RPMs are reached and then shift up one gear as quickly as lightning. Frankenstein's daughter will beat you in the back with a club." The Z is my shepherd. I shall not want. It makes me lay down in green pastures. It leads me beside quiet waters. It restores my soul. It guides me in the path of righteousness for the sake of its name. Even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil, my cup overflows. Surely goodness and mercy will follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the family of the Z.